Hello and welcome back as we continue discussing AWS monitoring services, this time focusing on CloudTrail. So let's click on that over here in the Orion papers and take a look at the diagram here. So unlike with the CloudWatch diagram where I had basically the umbrella of CloudWatch over the entire account, here I kind of more have the umbrella between the users or the root users and the actual account itself, because what CloudTrail is doing is it's capturing the API calls made to your AWS account. So let's get a little more specific with that and talk about some of the essentials. Well, CloudTrail is an API logging service that logs all API calls made to AWS. It does not matter if the API calls come from the command line, SDK, or console. All created logs by CloudTrail are placed in a designated S3 bucket, so they are highly available by default. CloudTrail logs help when addressing security concerns by allowing you to view what actions users on your AWS account have performed. And remember, since AWS is just one big API, CloudTrail can log every single action taken in your account. So again, that is why I have kind of CloudTrail covering this area here, because these are the API calls. So anytime that a user or your root user or even someone on an on-premise network make a call or make any sort of request. So this right here, right? Me clicking here on CloudTrail and clicking get started, right? So this is an API request. I'm making a request anytime I do anything in the console, anytime I run any sort of a command on the command line, or anytime that I make a request through an SDK. That is an API call, and that can be logged through CloudTrail. So here, now that I'm in CloudTrail, I can actually go about turning it on and setting it up. It's quite easy. So I can give this a name. I'll just call this Orion Trail. And I can choose to either apply to all regions or specific regions. I generally like to do for this particular region, the one that I'm in. That way I can keep them all separate. It's just easier for organization. I can choose to create a new S3 bucket right here in this form, or to use one that already exists. I'll go ahead and create a new one here. I'll call this Orion Papers CloudTrail. Let's see if this is taken. Next, if I want to, I can actually add a prefix, so I can add folders to this that I want to place the particular log files in. I can enable log file validation, and I can also set it so that anytime that a log file is delivered to the S3 bucket, it will send an SNS alert to me via one of the topics that I have set up, but I'm not going to do that for now. So I can just go ahead and turn it on. So here I can see this particular trail name. I can click on that, and I can view any sort of settings or configuration for this particular trail. And I see here that it is on at any time. I can also turn it off. And currently, there is no API activity history for this particular trail. However, if I just go do some things in AWS, let's see, we can go to S3. And we can actually take a look here at our Orion Papers CloudTrail bucket itself. It did create a subfolder for AWS logs. Drilling all the way down, it organizes it nicely for us. We can see there's already been a log file delivered. So I can download that and open it and view it, whatever I would like to do with it. But now let's just go back to the Orion Papers here. We'll click on this bucket. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, let's say, delete this particular file. So that was just another action that I performed, and that is going to be logged in CloudTrail. It's going to log me, my username, when I did it, right? The IP address, where the request came from. It's going to log all sorts of information. So if later there are some security issues or I need to find out who deleted that file, I'll be able to do so by looking through the logs. So we can jump back over now to CloudTrail. And I do see here that some API activity is starting to populate here. And this will fill up just as time progresses and actions happen in your AWS account. But we can take specifically look at these and we can see what it is that we see. So we see the username, we see the event source, the region that it occurred in, the event name, all sorts of information about this particular API call. So again, CloudTrail is just a great way to log all of the actions taken against your account. And it's great to use in the future if you have any security issues that may arise or any auditing that needs to be done. And with that, we will conclude this lesson. Thank you for watching. You may now move on.